All right, so you know that feeling when you get an invitation to like the most exclusive party ever? Like one where just showing up is a win.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Well, that's kind of what we're diving into today, the latest qualifiers for the 2025 Masters.
Oh, nice.
We've got this PGA Tour article that breaks down who's in and all the crazy ways they got there.
Sounds like fun.
It's a little dense,
Mhm.
but don't worry, we'll make sense of it all.
I'm sure you will.
What I find really interesting is how many different paths there are to Augusta.
Right.
It's not just about being the best player in the world.
Definitely not.
This article highlights that 9 golfers just locked in their spots based on the year-end official world golf ranking.
Oh, wow.
But that's just one way in.
Okay, so for those of us who don't follow golf religiously,
Sure.
can you explain what the official world golf ranking is?
Yeah, so the official world golf ranking, or OWGR,
Okay.
it's basically the ultimate leaderboard for all professional golfers.
So the higher you are, the better.
Exactly. Think of it like a giant point system where every tournament, every performance, it all adds up.
Makes sense.
And a high OWGR ranking opens doors not just to the Masters, but to other big-time events too.
Right, okay.
So for these 9 guys who just qualified, it's like a golden ticket earned through consistent performance all year.
I bet.
And some of them are so young. Tom Kim, at just 21 years old, is heading to his 3rd Masters already.
Wow, that's impressive.
Can you imagine being that young and already achieving so much?
I know, it's incredible. It's also exciting to see some first-timers like Nick Dunlap and Max Gracerman secure their spots.
Oh yeah, they're ones to watch for sure.
Both are in the running for PGA Tour Rookie of the Year, so clearly they're bringing some serious talent.
Speaking of talent, Rasmus Højgaard from Denmark just pulled off an insane double.
Oh.
He locked in his Masters spot and snagged a place in the Players' Championship.
Wow, how'd he do that?
It's because of his top ranking among DP World Tour golfers eligible for the PGA Tour.
Ah, so he's representing Europe. That's awesome.
It really shows how the landscape of professional golf is evolving. European tours are becoming more and more important as pathways to the Masters.
That's really cool. More international talent is always a good thing.
Totally. So the OWGR is just one way to get to Augusta.
Right.
What other paths are out there?
Well, the article talks about a few other exciting options.
Okay, lay it on me.
Winning specific PGA Tour events is a direct route, of course.
Makes sense.
But then there are the amateur championships.
Ah, the proving ground.
Exactly. They provide an amazing opportunity for up-and-coming players to really make a name for themselves.
And potentially earn a Masters invitation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So even if you're not a seasoned pro, you still have a shot at the big leagues if you can conquer those amateur tournaments.
I love that. It's like a true underdog story.
Absolutely. It adds an element of unpredictability and gives young talent a chance to shine.
So we've got the OWGR, PGA Tour wins, amateur championships.
It's like a choose-your-own-adventure for golfers aiming for Augusta.
I love that analogy. But it's not just about the competition, right? There's a whole other layer to the Masters.
Absolutely.
It's Augusta National. With all its history and tradition,
Right.
even for seasoned pros, just getting there must feel like a huge accomplishment.
Absolutely. The allure of Augusta is undeniable.
I can really imagine.
Walking those grounds, competing against the best in the world. It's a dream for any golfer.
It's like stepping back in time, you know? All those legendary moments.
Exactly. And for those who have tasted victory at the Masters, it's a chance to relive those moments and add to their legacy.
Totally. And speaking of past champions,
Yes.
the article mentions a couple of familiar names who also qualified this year.
Okay, who are we talking about?
Jason Day and Lucas Glover.
Ah, veterans.
These guys aren't just playing, they're chasing history.
For sure. Jason Day, for example, battled back from injuries and a slump in his career.
It's amazing to see that kind of resilience.
Right. Now he's back at Augusta, ready for another shot at glory.
That's what makes the Masters so captivating.
Totally agree. These guys have stories that go beyond the rankings.
So we've got rising stars, seasoned veterans, and a whole bunch of ways to reach the Masters.
Yeah, it's shaping up to be a really interesting tournament.
It's like a giant puzzle with all these different pieces coming together.
And what's interesting is that the puzzle isn't even complete yet. There are still more pieces to fall into place in the coming months.
Wait, are you serious? There are even more ways to qualify.
Oh, yeah.
You got to tell me everything.
So the PGA Tour article calls this section remaining qualifying criteria.
Ooh, mysterious.
And this is where things get really interesting.
More interesting. Okay, color me intrigued.
It's not just about who's already in,
Right.
but who could still make a late run.
Like a last-minute push for Augusta.
Exactly.
I'm on the edge of my seat here. What are these last-minute scenarios we're talking about?
Okay, so first up, Winning certain PGA Tour events leading up to the Masters.
Oh, wow, really?
Yep, that guarantees you a spot.
So even if you're not having the best season, you could win one of these key tournaments,
Yep.
and boom, you're off to Augusta.
That's the ticket.
Man, that's got to be a lot of pressure.
Oh, yeah, imagine that.
Every shot could be the difference between another tournament and a trip to the Masters.
Talk about high stakes.
Okay, so winning those specific tournaments is one way. What else?
Then there are the rankings.
Ah, the OWGR.
Exactly, the top 50 in the OWGR at the end of March.
Okay.
Those guys secure their spots.
So even if a golfer hasn't won a tournament,
Right.
they can still punch their ticket based on consistency throughout the year.
Exactly. Consistency is key here. It's not just about flashy wins. It's about staying in the game and racking up those ranking points.
You got to play the long game.
Exactly.
Wow, the Masters really knows how to keep things interesting.
Doesn't it? And remember, the Masters has a limited field, so every spot is super competitive.
Makes sense.
This creates a fascinating dynamic.
How so?
Golfers have to balance chasing tournament victories with maintaining a high world ranking.
It's like they're playing two games at once.
That's a great way to put it. They
Yeah.
need to win tournaments and stay high in the rankings.
What a strategic challenge.
And that's what makes pro golf so compelling.
Oh, it's cool.
It's not just physical skill, it's mental toughness, strategy, adapting to different pressures.
You got to have the whole package.
Exactly.
All right, so we've got those who qualify through the OWGR,
Yep.
the potential for some late-season Cinderella stories from those PGA Tour wins,
Love those.
and the ongoing battle for those top 50 spots in the rankings.
Right.
Man, the next few months are going to be wild.
Buckle up. Oh, and we can't forget about the FedEx Cup.
Oh, yeah, the playoffs of golf.
That's right.
How does that factor into Masters qualifying?
Think of it as a points race throughout the season.
Okay.
Then the top performers duke it out in a series of tournaments at the end.
So the stakes are even higher.
Oh, yeah. A high finish in the FedEx Cup
Yeah.
can pretty much guarantee you a spot in the Masters the following year.
Wow. So the FedEx Cup is like a pressure cooker.
Totally.
Every shot matters.
Every single one.
Must be incredible for both the golfers and the fans.
Oh, absolutely. And let's not forget about the international scene.
Oh, right, like the European Tour.
Exactly. The race to Dubai is basically their version of the FedEx Cup.
Oh, cool. So it's a similar point system with big tournaments at the end.
And a top finish there can also earn you a spot at Augusta.
So even if you're not playing on the PGA Tour,
Right.
you can still dream of the Masters.
As long as you dominate in Europe.
It's awesome how global the Masters is becoming.
It really is.
Okay, so to recap,
Let's do it.
we've got the OWGR, PGA Tour wins, amateur championships, the FedEx Cup, and the race to Dubai.
You got it.
Are we missing anything? Any other secret paths to Augusta?
Actually, there is one more thing.
Oh, really? Don't leave me hanging.
Remember those special invitations we talked about?
Vaguely.
The Masters Committee.
Okay.
They have the power to invite international players who maybe didn't qualify through the usual channels.
Whoa, so there's still a chance for a wild card entry.
Exactly, like a surprise guest.
I love it. So it's not just about rankings and wins.
Right.
It's also about catching the eye of the Masters Committee, showing them you belong on that stage.
Absolutely. It adds a whole other layer of intrigue to the process.
Totally. And think about it.
Yeah.
For a golfer who maybe had a tough season or is coming back from an injury,
Right.
this special invitation could be a game changer.
A chance to reignite their career.
Maybe even make history.
What a story that would be.
This whole qualification process is starting to feel like a movie.
It really is. Every tournament, every shot, every ranking point,
Yeah.
it all adds up.
It's like a giant narrative unfolding throughout the year.
And as fans, we get to witness it all.
The drama, the triumphs, the heartbreaks.
It's all part of the Master legacy.
And speaking of drama,
Yeah.
the article lists a bunch of golfers who are already qualified for 2025.
Mm-hmm.
And some of these names are huge.
Like who?
Rory McIlroy, Scotty Scheffler, Jon Rahm.
Oh, yeah, the big guns.
These guys are the heavy hitters of the golfing world.
The best of the best.
It must be incredible to be in their shoes,
I can't even imagine.
to know that you've earned a spot at Augusta National.
To be among the elite.
But what I find really fascinating is the diversity of the field.
Oh, tell me more about that.
The article highlights golfers from all over the world representing different tours and backgrounds,
It's amazing.
all coming together for this one event.
The Masters really is something special.
And it's like a microcosm of the entire golfing world,
Right.
reflecting how global the sport has become.
It's not just about one tour or one country anymore.
This is why we love golf, isn't it? The competition, the stories, the global stage.
It all comes together at Augusta.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is a special event. And with so many different ways to qualify, it makes you wonder how this might impact the future of the Masters.
In what way?
Will we see even more diversity in the field?
Hmm.
More unexpected winners, you know?
Yeah.
It's going to be fascinating to see how it all plays out.
It feels like we're entering a new era for the Masters.
Yeah,
One where the global stage is front and center.
totally.
You know, this PGA Tour article we've been talking about?
Yeah,
It's like a roadmap for any golfer who dreams of playing at Augusta.
absolutely. It lays out all the different paths, the challenges, the rewards.
Right.
It's a good reminder that even in a sport as individual as golf,
Hmm.
there are so many different journeys to the top.
It's not just about raw talent.
Right.
It's about dedication, strategy,
Mm-hmm.
maybe even a little bit of luck.
Gotta have that little bit of luck.
You know, and for those who do earn their spot in the Masters,
Right.
it's got to be such a validating feeling.
Oh, yeah. Imagine getting that invitation, knowing you've earned the right to compete at Augusta National.
That must be a feeling like no other.
A once-in-a-lifetime experience.
And for the fans, we get to witness history in the making.
We do.
Every swing, every putt, every moment of triumph and heartbreak.
It all becomes part of the Masters' legacy.
It's pretty amazing.
It is.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground today.
You have.
From that Masters invitation to all the different ways to qualify to the fierce competition,
Right.
it's clear that the 2025 Masters is going to be one for the books.
It is. And before we wrap up, I want to leave you with something to think about.
Okay, hit me.
With this increasingly global and diverse field, do you think we'll see a less predictable winner at the 2025 Masters?
That's a great question. It really makes you think.
Right. It's like the Masters is this giant question mark, and we won't know the answer until that final putt drops.
The anticipation is killing me already.
I know. And if you want to learn more about Masters qualifying,
Yes.
definitely check out that PGA Tour article we've been talking about.
It's a great resource.
It has the full list of qualified golfers, all the details about the qualifying criteria, and some cool insights into the history and traditions of the tournament.
I'll definitely be checking it out.
You should. It's a must-read for any golf fan.
And who knows, maybe reading that article will inspire someone listening to start planning their own path to Augusta.
You never know it could happen.
It's all about setting your sights on a dream and taking those first steps.
Well said. And remember, whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out,
Yeah.
the most important thing is to enjoy the game and enjoy the journey.
Couldn't agree more. That's what golf is all about.
Exactly.